All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim here pushing his gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is Brother Quana Watt coming back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. Lord will, it is edifying. Lord will, it is straight to the point. But I came across this article earlier, and as you see, right, it's on peoplesvoice.tv. It says, World Economic Forum, or WEF, provision sneaked into Omnibus bill will ration beef consumption in U.S., right? And this is ultimately, we understand, right, 2 Corinthians 2:11, right? We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, right? His evil schemes, his plots, and his plans. This whole thing, right, is about Esau Edom's New World Order, right? Where he wants full control over literally everything. And when I say everything, I mean absolutely everything, and just being facetious, even Esau, wants to be able to control how many times you go to the bathroom, man, but that's just Esau Edom, 2 Corinthians, like your 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 4, right, tells you that he wants to set himself up as the Most High. So again, this is ultimately what we're seeing, right? Esau Edom again trying to, establish his NWO, right? And right as we're seeing right here, right, it's starting with having control over your food. It says right here, legal experts are raising the alarm over a World Economic Forum provision that was snuck in the recently passed Omnibus bill that will severely ration America's beef supply to the public. Right, because they've, the World Economic Forum has ultimately stated that, humans alone, right, contribute to, a good portion of, this, global warming or, just climate, climate change, period, right, in a negative way, again, calling, basically humans, pollution, so to speak, man, by, how much, we consume meat or drive our cars or just breathe in general, so this is a way for Esau Edom to try to, I guess, get ahead of what Esau Edom is so-called calling humans pollution, man, and trying to eliminate, because this is going to have a huge effect on people, man, right? 'Cause especially Americans are heavy meat eaters, man, But we'll keep going, right? It says $15 million has been allocated to electronically track livestock, raising fears that the new system could be weaponized by the government to limit beef consumption. So it goes all the way back, right, to the MO to the TB, right? The RFID micro C-hip, right? Which we know is the Karagma, man. Esau, again, trying to, connect everything to the IoT, right? The Internet of Things, So this is all part of his New World Order. And I'm not going to read this article is kind of lengthy. I'm not going to read a lot of it. I just kind of want to get a couple points, and then, grab a few scriptures and we'll close out. It says right here, they are going to use it as a taxing mechanism to eventually control the livestock, right? Right. It says in the European Union, they use these measures under the guise of climate change lies to limit the cattle supply. And if they do that here, it will destroy our industry. And we know that, over in Germany and in France, right, especially Germany, right, you had a lot of farmers. They were sitting there, throwing basically cow feces, right, manure on, official buildings and with that fences and stuff like that, just plastering it on there, man, because of, showing their disdain, for, the government and the different laws and policies that, their governments are ultimately setting up. And now we're seeing that same type of government or same type of sentiment, right, being, introduced to America, right, and these Americans, right? It says if the tag mandate is implemented, it will be the key to open the door to the gas chamber for independent ranching, because again, that's what it's about, right? We're already seeing, beginning with the scamdemic, right? With, all these businesses shutting down, that destroyed a lot of these small businesses, man, right? Which hurt the middle class, right? Which means that, hey, there's not different classes of people right now. You got, the rich, right, the ultra rich and the ultra poor, which is how Esau Edom wants it. He wants to be able to control, again, everybody's, money supply, everybody's food supply. It's all about control with this devil, right? Let's drop down. Actually, right here, it says the left wants to ban cattle. And before you can ban anything, you need a registry. You need to know where it's at and who owns it, and that's why they want to tag cattle again, right? Going back to Esau's control over things, right? It says in a previous post, Mr. Massey wrote that if passed, electronic tracking will be used by the green agenda to limit beef production and by the corporate meat oligopoly to dominate small ranchers, right? So again, they want to get rid of these independent, ranchers, right? Because again, they have no control over them, right? But they want to have control, right? And this is how they're doing it, implementing some type of tracking, tracking and tagging, law. It says, we'll drop down. Yeah, let's drop down. It says right here, since 2003, following the discovery of the first case of bovine spongiform, whatever that word is, this is also known as mad cow disease in the United States, ranchers have been pushing to adopt electronic identification tags for livestock movement. The cattle industry has been gradually advancing toward enhancing traceability rules and technology ever since, right? It says, however, the federal mandating of electronic ear tags would place unnecessary and punitive costs on American ranchers while also further raising the price of beef. So this is not only going to hurt, again, these ranchers, right? This is going to hurt the everyday Americans, man, right? That go and they purchase beef, man, right? From, right, these independent ranchers or, these independent ranchers selling them their meat to these stores, right? And then the person, right, the consumer having to go to these stores to, to purchase, these meats, man, these meat cuts, right? It's going to make everything more expensive, right? From the rancher, right, the farmer, all the way down to the consumer, man, which is going to cause problems, man, It says, drop down, next bold point, right? It says a new mandate on livestock would only add another obstacle to an industry already decimated by regulations and drought, right? Because again, right, we're starting to see a lot of, again, since the scamdemic, right? Since there was a major drought that was happened, I want to say a couple years ago, and they were saying that 3,000 cows, right, just randomly ended up dead, which we know was like some type of poison or something like that. Esau Edom, working behind scenes. And then you have, again, these food processing plants, right, that have been going up in flames, right, beginning in 2020, maybe even before that, but I know 2021 was a heavy year for that as well. And then recently, a year and a half ago, right, you had that fire, right, that had I think it was 10,000 cows or some shit like that, man, and you just hear the cows, right? It was all up in flames, the cows burning, man, so that right there, all these different events that have been taking place, right, have hurt, right, just the food industry, period, man, across the board, right? Not just, in meats, right, but vegetables, stuff like that, right? You got overseas, right? I want to say that the last year and some change, right? You had over there in India, they had major flooding, right? Which, destroyed a lot of their, their rice, a lot of their rice fields, man. So they had to, they cut back on exporting a lot of rice, right? Which made rice here in America, right? The price jump up a little bit, man, as well as other places. So it's across the board. It's not just, on meat, right? The industry, the food industry across the board is in trouble, and this is just, again, to add, fuel to the fire, right? It says the beef cattle supply has already dropped to its lowest point in decades, right? It says raising the price of beef to another all-time high and renewing concerns over the long-term health of the nation's farming community. A series of severe droughts coupled with government policies that continue to favor large industrial food processors, has reduced the nation's supply of beef cattle to a level not seen since the early 1950s, according to Mr. Tupper. So this is, bro, we're going on, what, 70 years, since America, had seen any kind of, a struggle when it came to the beef, right, industry, or the beef cattle industry, 70 plus years, man, which is huge, right? Just shows you where we're at right now, right? And it's only going to continue to get worse, right? It says lawmakers slipped the funding for the electronic ear tag infrastructure into a single paragraph in the Omnibus bill, which allowed lawmakers to pass legislation without the scrutiny that would normally occur, and is another example of the increasingly intrusive role the federal government has in the lives of the independent ranchers, he said, right? Because, a lot of people have, ultimately been focused on, this Diddy exposure, right? A lot of people have been focused on, this Baltimore, Baltimore Bridge, right? Francis Scott, the Key Bridge, right? Francis Scott Key Bridge, right? The tanker, or the what is that? I want to say tanker, but that boat basically hitting that bridge, dropping that bridge, as well as other bridges, right, being attacked, man. Over in Turkey, right? You got the Washington D.C. bridge, right? Having to be shut down for some work, right? You had a bridge over in Ohio that went, basically there was a massive fire under the bridge, man. Shut the bridge down, right? So you have all these different things that are happening, man, But again, it's all according to the plan, right? So everything's only going to continue to get worse, right? It says anything that is mandated, we are going to push back very hard against, right? So this is the mindset, right, of these ranchers, of the people, right? They're tired, right? They're already dealing with inflation, right? Dealing with shrinkflation. They're dealing with stagflation, dealing with, soon to be hyperinflation, right? These people are, all-time high. There's constant videos of these people sitting here saying, hey, you know what? Like, there's no reason, right, that they should continue to go to work just to barely make it. They're working all this extra hours, or they're working all this, putting it, working harder, right, just to barely make it by, And there's many, many videos going out, right? People feeling the same way, man. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of videos are going out. Right here soon, right? That bubble is going to burst, man. These people are, they're not going to take it anymore, man. Soon they're going to rise up, Right here, it says, we are all well aware of the fact that data can exert a tremendous amount of control over the nation's livestock. It says the provision could also be the beginning of the end for independent American ranchers, right? It says, dropping in the last paragraph, it says the beef industry is the last bastion, which ultimately goes into, a fortitude, so to speak, right, of freedom, right? Saying it's like the last, the last string, right, that needs to be cut, right? It says, he said, ranchers across the nation have to stand up. If not, these tags will be the end of the small ranchers. And again, right, we're going to see, right, this is going to lead, right, when this ultimately starts to get implemented, you're going to see more and more, of that, that same thing that we had seen in France and Germany, right? The ranchers standing up, farmers standing up and rising up and protesting, we're going to see a lot of that, which is prophecy, man, right? It's prophesied that these things would take place, right? Let's go and get it, right? Job 20 and verse 22, it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. It says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Which you go into that word wicked, it goes into laborers, right? From laborers going into, those who are out here laboring, man, working and toiling just to make ends meet, right? Going from, again, these ranchers, these farmers, right, down to the regular people, man, right, that are having to take, basically, dead end jobs, right, working at a McDonald's or a Walmart, barely making any kind of money, right? These people are going to start rising up here soon, man. And they're going to start pushing back, on the American government, man. Rising up, man. And it's going to be all chaos at that moment, man. Because not only are they going to, they're dealing with these, again, inflation, right? They're dealing with, Esau setting up these different bills, right, to hinder them more. These people are going to say, fuck it, man. you know, and that's going to be it, right? All hell is going to break loose, man. You know, these people are tired of this shit, man, you know. And which also shows you too that, you know, America's done for, you know. America is completely done for, man, you know. So let's grab this. I got a couple presets, man. I don't want to grab too much, man, you know. This is let's grab Matthew's 24. Just flowing in the spirit, man, you know. Spirit just kind of hit Matthew's 24. And we'll start at verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming in the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And you got a lot of these motherfuckers out here, man, from pagan Christians, man, to even those, you know, that, you know, that are within Israel today, right? These false leaders, false prophets, you know. This is why, again, the scriptures say, you know, be not tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine, man, because there's more false prophets than there are true prophets, man, you know. And if you be a part of the elect, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to guide you right to the true prophets, man, you know. Right here, verse 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, which we're seeing now, right? You got Russia basically, you know, threatening America with nuclear war, right? You got America and Iran in a skirmish, right? As well as, you know, many other things, right? You got Russia now, you know, basically pulling up, you know, over there in the Middle East, man. And I can't remember what sea. I think it was like the Red Sea or something like that, you know. Hey, Russia pulling up, you know, they ain't playing anymore, man, you know. Mediterranean Sea or Red Sea or something like that, man. I can't remember for sure, right? But it says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And, you know, again, with this, you know, electronic tagging, raising the prices for these farmers, hey, that's going to aid in the famine as well, man, you know, to where, again, right, these farmers, right, they got to shut down shop, they got to sell their cows. When we know the government is doing is basically killing off, you know, anything that they didn't produce or anything that they didn't raise, and then they're raising up or producing their own, right, GMO, you know, animals, man, to feed people, right? They're looking into giving people, you know, bugs, right, to feed bugs, you know, all these different things, man. They're not giving anybody any kind of real meat anymore. Right, so if you do have a rancher or a farmer that's out here giving, you know, real meat, and you best believe Esau's going to eliminate that, man. You know, it says verse 8. Here's the point. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows, right, man? Right, it's only beginning, right? It's only going to continue to get worse here soon, right? When this whole implementation of this tracking system comes out, and these farmers start to get real, you know, really hit. Hey, well, guess what, man? You're going to see shit start to really roll downhill fast, man. You know, rolling downhill, right? It's only going to be, again, it's only the beginning of sorrows as we're seeing right now, you know. Let me jump to 2nd Esdras 16. 2nd Esdras 16, and we'll start right here. It says, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days, right? It says the beginning of sorrows, right, and great mournings, right? So, hey, all these things that we're seeing, right, is the beginning of sorrows, right, that are to come, right? It says the beginning of famine and great death, right? The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Right? It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Right? So, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And this is exactly what Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is doing, right? Everything that's happening. Yes, you know, the Lord is basically killing two birds with one stone, right? The Lord is allowing Esau, Edom to make these moves, right? Because we know Proverbs 21:1, right? The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. So really, you know, any kind of move that Esau, Edom is making, right, is orchestrated by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, right? And at the same time, right, again, this situation, right, Esau making these moves, it's going to cause and create, you know, uproars. It's going to cause and create famine, right? Which is going to, again, as we see, right, all those things are created for scourges, or are created as scourges for amendment, right? The Lord is sending, is having these things basically be built up, right, to correct the situation. The situation is a wickedness is fully taken over the earth, right? 2nd Esdras 15, right? For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, man. You know, And the Lord is having these situations be rose up, right, to get rid of that shit, man. Right, as judgment upon the wicked, man. You know, it says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And people think they're good right now, man. Right? Nobody's really paying attention to this omnibus bill that was ultimately slipped in there, man. That was snuck in. Nobody's paying attention to that. Nobody really gives a fuck. I'm at the park and you just see people walking around, you know, minding their own business, kids playing around. Nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention, you know. So when it does come upon them, man, they, they're going to be asked out, man. Right? It says that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So everything's just, hey, the pot is boiling, man. Right? The lid might be on the pot, so the people might not see the boil. Hey, but that don't mean it's not boiling under that lid, man. You know? Right? It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Right? It says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. And that's Jacob's trouble, man. Jacob's trouble is going to be a time like no other, right? Jeremiah 30, beginning at verse 5, man. You know, a time of fear, a time of trembling, and not of peace, man. You know, this is the time that we are in, man. You know, Esau is making these moves quick, fast, in a hurry, man. And again, he's doing it while you people are distracted. You know, you got March Madness happening right now, right? You got, again, these bridges going down, you know. You got this whole scandal with the Diddy and stuff like that. You know, nobody's really paying attention to anything else, man. And that's why it's so easy for Esau to slide in these different policies and bills, man. Right? Nobody's looking, you know. Hey, you can't get nothing past you. How about Shimei outside, man? You know, he sees everything, you know, and this is being revealed and it's being pushed out there, man. You know, but that's all I got, man. I just wanted to bring that out, man. Touch on that a little bit. You know, Lord will was edifying. Lord will, it was straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the great millstone. Till next time, I say shalom.